Got to mute the YouTube, so just in case somebody wants to comment, they can chime in there. Um, anyway, tonight my glasses are garbage. Uh, I need to take them down to Walmart and get them to redo them again. They got a guarantee on them, so I think they last for like 2 months and they're done. They get they got a coating on them. I'm gonna tell them to keep that coating off of it because it ain't working. So I don't know. I mean, maybe a lot of people don't have an interest in Santa Claus, but I do. I and I enjoy exploring new ideas and new understandings about how the universe and its physical laws affect the micro and the macro, and so there's things within that uh, dialogue that kind of compel me to explore other facets of the universe. And so one day I was exploring the idea whether or not Santa Claus existed, and so I'm like I said, if I have some friends show up, I don't want to get star too far in it, but I think you know, for a lot of people, there's some fantasy about uh, or mythology about Saint Nicholas, and so they don't know where to go with that. It's kind of how would you? Well, let's just go to Wikipedia real quick while we're John here for a minute. And I think it's important um, to explore that a little bit and see what uh, Wikipedia would say about if I could see the keyboard. Oh, there we go. Santa Claus. All right, Wikipedia. Let's get over here. Share the screen. Okay, so this is what it says. Santa Claus, also known as Saint Nicholas, Saint Nick, Father Christmas, Kris Kringle, or Santa, um, is a legendary figure or originating in the Western Christian culture who is said to bring gifts during the late evening and overnight hours on Christmas Eve. He is said to accomplish this with the aid of Christmas elves who make the toys in the workshop, in his workshop. Sorry, I don't have my glasses. I thought I might have another pair here, but I don't have them. Anyway, I was looking around. I can't see nothing. Anyway, let's continue on. The popular conception of Santa Claus originates from folklore tradition surrounding the fourth century Christian bishop, Saint Nicholas, the patron saint of children. Saint Nicholas became renowned for his renowned reported generosity and excuse me, secret gift giving. The image of Santa Claus shares similarities with the English figure of Father Christmas, and they are both now popularly regarded as the same person. Santa is generally depicted as a jolly, white bearded man, often with spectacles, wearing a red coat with white fur collar and cuffs, white fur cuffed, red nose, red trousers, a trimmed a hat red, excuse me, a red hat trimmed. Sorry, I don't have my glasses, so you'll have to. I'm a bad reader anyway, but makes it even worse when you can't see the words that you're reading. Wearing a red coat with white fur, excuse me, let's go, with white fur collar and cuffs, white fur cuffed red trousers, a red hat trimmed with white fur, a black leather bell, and boots, carrying a bag full of gifts for children. He is popularly associated with a deep, hearty laugh, frequently re- rendered in Christmas literature as "ho ho ho." Oh, excuse me. Sorry about that. That's why you need friends. The image originated in North America during the 19th century, influenced by Dutch immigrants who brought the legends Santa Claus, St. Nicholas, to the 17th century New Amsterdam, present day New York City, and was and has been maintained and reinforced through song, radio, television, children's books, family Christmas traditions, films, and advertising. Let me make sure put that there just in case somebody wants to show up and enjoy the tonight's Santa Claus discussion. Saint Nicholas was a fourth century Greek Christian bishop of Myra, now Dimri, in the region of Lycia in the Roman Empire, today in Turkey. Nicholas was known for his generous gifts to the poor and to the poor, in particular presenting the three impoverished daughters of pious Christian with dowries so that they would not have to become prostitutes. Wow. Oh, Robert is joining us tonight. Good. He was very religious. Hey, Robert. Rob, how you doing? I hope I've got him on. Oh, he's muted. So I'm hoping that yep, everything's working okay. Let me go back. I want to do something here real quick. I want to make sure that my microphone's working. It looks like it's working. And Rob is in town. So let's get back to sharing this and let's let Wikipedia kind of give us some insight and information. So I mean that's interesting. I never heard of that where he's the daughters of a pious Christian, pious meaning very religious. Um, he doesn't want them to become prostitutes, so he gives them a dowries. Dowry is for we'll just look it up on Wikipedia here real quick. Dowry. Um, a dowry is a payment such as land, property, monetary, cattle, or any commercial asset that is paid by the bride family to the grooms. Okay, see, I knew that's what it was, but I wanted to double check what I knew. Um, so basically, these women couldn't get married unless they had a dowry, and no man's going to marry a woman without a dowry back in those times. So in 1078 or 1087, while the Greek Christian inhabitants of Myra were su subjugated to by the newly arrived Muslim Seljuk dynasty, and soon after that, their Greek Orthodox Church had been declared to be in the schism by the Catholic Church in 1054 AD. A group of merchants from the Italian city of Bari removed the major bones of Nicholas' skeleton from the from his sarcophagus in the Greek church in Myra. Over the objection of the monks of Myra, the sailors took the bones of Saint Nicholas to Bari, where they were where they are now enshrined in Basilica di San Nicola. So anyway, so here's I said Rob's on tonight, so but I hope whenever we get this video done that other people will enjoy this conversation or this dialogue that I present tonight. Um, so I don't lie. I will not lie. I refuse to lie. So you can only imagine a long time ago how I felt whenever I realized I don't lie. I don't want to lie. I refuse to lie. And how that would, and the question of Santa Claus came up, of course, with the kids when they were young. And so I had to ponder that for a little bit because, again, how do you not lie, but not break the dreams and hopes of children? I mean, that's all we have left in life is dreams and hopes. Without those, we're a dying breed of species. We're no, I mean, destitute and despair and sadness and hopelessness and it all just drives you to a place where nothing is of value. Not even the people around you, not even your parents, not even your uh, brothers and sisters, nothing is of value when you feel like there's nothing to live for, that you have nothing to of value in the world anymore. And so, again, to take away Santa Claus from children, it's quite despicable, to say the least. Well, I don't want to lie to my children. Well, then don't lie to the children. Tell them the truth. So, how do you reason, or how do you look at all the models of Saint Nicholas on the cartoons and in storybooks and other literature like that, or songs and things like that, or song, songs like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and all that. How do you, how can you say that this has, um, what would you say, any value of truth within its content when it is a made up world that, as a grown up, we tend to say, well, um, we become, what would you say? We lose our childlike self, trying to act like the superior ones of the earth. And so we try to make these things go away because we want to be superior. We want to look like we are the intellectual ones. We are the ones that says that magic and Santa Claus and God and all these things, they're just make believe. They're myths, and they're created for uh, to either control the masses or for entertainment's sake or whatever that looks like. that the gods that were created by mythology and mythology or Roman mythology, we find ourselves, especially in Christianity, we find ourselves lacking, or they're lacking in this idea that what are the possibilities of the universe? Is it just simply that there is the one and only that can, what would you say, have power over the elements that will uh, uh, drive the um, the magic of the world into a place where um, it becomes more uh, appealing to us. What I'm trying to say is, if Satan can come in disguise as an angel of light, and it said that that the Antichrist will come and he will perform miracles and all these different things, and the very elect will be fooled by the 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 power that he expresses. It's obvious that it's just not God and Jesus Christ that can perform these acts of what we call miracles. Uh, but we know that there is God the Father and Jesus Christ only do things to to empower us to draw back to Him, because He's the only one that's going to be able uh, to render to us the very thing that we seek after, and that's the our immortal existence and the resurrection. Satan will can perform all these miracles. It says by the Antichrist, but he's not trying to draw you to a place where you're going to receive the greatest of benefits. He's trying to draw you away from that, trying to make you miserable as he is. And
His only
so,
intention is to deceive.
what's that?
His only intention is to deceive.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Thanks, sir, Rob. I, so you hear what I'm talking about, Rob. So do you have do you agree with what I'm saying? Where we a lot that man is trying to become the smartest one in the room, and therefore they're trying to reject things that are what would you say known as myths, even calling God the Father and Jesus Christ a myth. Are they trying to be the smartest ones in the room? Kind of attitude.
Yeah, yeah, I think so. I mean, man is selfish, and so man thinks that they can do it on their own, kind of thing,
Yeah.
and
So
they're going to try to draw attention to themselves, kind of thing. They always, like when you're in a playing games like Monopoly or Sorry or something, you're happy. Normally, you're happy because you won, kind of thing. You want to have the glory, kind of thing.
yeah, yeah. It's again, how can I? Uh, because that was, when we talk about Saint Nicholas or Santa Claus, we put that to the side when we get grown up, in such a way that we those were childlike ideas. I'm a grown up. I can't believe in those childlike ideas anymore. So I was talking to a friend of mine today, and there was a few of us around, just me, a couple of friends of mine, and we were talking about this party that's coming up for Christmas, and me and one of the guys, one of my friends is saying, well, we don't drink. Well, you can't, is what the other guy says. And so there's three of us. And I said, it's not that I can't. I can drink all I want. I can drink till I die, but I choose
Yeah.
not to. I choose, I choose, I choose the better way for myself. And I said, I'm not saying that it's not, it's bad for you to drink. I'm just saying, and I'm just saying for me, I'm not going to go that way. I like where I'm at. But it came down to the idea uh, that he said that the gentleman that does drink, he says, "Well, I want to stop drinking." I'm like, "You want to stop drinking for because you're talking to us because it's socially fitting to talk that way around those who don't drink." But but that's not going to carry you very far. You got to have a real reason not to drink. That there's a real something that is going to not be because your friends have told you not to drink, or you're in the presence of those who don't drink. Because just as you say, well, if you're doing this only for social, for the social interaction, then just as soon as you get around those who enjoy a nip or two, what is the end result? You want to be sociable with them, so therefore you're going to allow yourself to be to die or to drink. You know what I mean? So there's got to be so you just can't do something just because you're in a crowd. You know what I mean? It's got to be
Yeah, peer
more.
pressure.
What's that?
Peer pressure.
Yeah, yeah. So it doesn't carry you very far, very far. And I said, do you have any children? He says, I got a daughter. I said, your daughter is going to look. I said, my dad was a drinker. He had a lot of problems, but I was asked who was my hero. And I said, it was my dad because he had great qualities about himself, even though that he had some other things that weren't, that he just couldn't get out of. And it just happens that way sometimes. And I said, your daughter is going to look to you as an example of who she will eventually choose as a husband. And you have to look at that situation and 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 ask yourself, what kind of man do I want my daughter to eventually to marry? And I think that kind of drove home the point. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say my dad, he smoked and drank and had girlfriends on the side besides my mom. And the one thing that he sometimes said to me was, "Don't do as I do, do as I
Say,
say."
yeah.
Yeah,
And I said that, and we're going to get to Santa Claus today, folks. So believe me. But I think these are good build-ups to what does it, when we become an adult, then how do we approach life? And I think, and one of the things that I was talking to him about also, I said, when when the laws of the state, the laws of the country, actually entice teenagers to actually involve themselves in smoking and drinking and drugs and promiscuity and all these other things, even the language that they use. All these things are driven by either laws that do not allow you certain uh, um, rights until you become an adult. And so whenever you live with your mom and dad, you don't want to, spew a bunch of colorful words out. Some places, some houses they do. It's unfortunate, but
Yeah.
a lot of, go ahead, Rob.
Oh, I just said this was agreeing with you. Yeah. My dad was the kind of like the king of colorful language kind of thing, unfortunately, and but my mom wasn't too bad. But by beholding you become changed, though.
But you couldn't do those things until you grew up old enough to do them. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's an enticement to teenagers to go and participate in these activities because the teenager wants to become an adult, the first adult on his block, the first adult in his peer group. And it drives you and it drives the teenager to do these things because this is a way of again demonstrating to others that are your peers that you are more than they are because you've already experienced these things. So therefore, you've graduated to the adult state of existence, and then you couple that with the idea that a lot of teenagers are trying to escape their parents' uh, uh, consequence to their actions. That it's another way of driving or trying to hurry up and become that adult. And then so that's that. So when it comes to again, we're going to talk about Santa Claus, but I think these are important things when we're looking at the uh, the attitude of man and trying to reach farther than anybody else has, so that they can look like they are the intellectuals, they are the adults. Then they escape reality on their own. I mean, I got this story. I think that's a really good story. Uh, this uh, what I do here, just a second here. I want people to know that we hope that you help us out here a little bit, and and start make sure that you subscribe to our channel and like this video and share it with your friends. Um, Subscribe to our channel and let's uh, build this community so that others will be enlightened by things that we are um, uh, discussing on this channel. Because what we discuss is, I think they're very in depth, and I think they're quite appealing to an audience that we haven't captured yet. So we're happy. We're hoping that those who are watching, that you'll leave a comment on some uh, content that you would like to watch, and or you would like to be involved in. We're always looking for more people to share their time with us on Zoom, so that they can go ahead and express their ideas and how they uh, would like to how they see the universe and God and our relationship with God. So anyway, I'm just letting you know that the door is wide open for anything that you want to talk about. And so if you want to come in and share some time with us, you're more than welcome. But anyway, so back to the subject at hand, we like I said, we often uh, dismiss things like Saint Nicholas. We dismiss the Roman Greek mythology. We dismiss the um, Greek or Roman mythology and Greek mythology. We dismiss a lot of things. I mean, there's some things that we just absolutely know that are not that are make believe. I get it, And but there's some things in but there's some things in those myths. They didn't just, what would you say? They didn't just grab it from thin air and create a myth. There had to be something that they were responding to. And like anything, they they blew the story up to make it more magical, more interesting to their audience. I mean, again, we go back to the Bible and you read about the flying serpents, and you read about there's a mention of a unicorn in there. Uh, um, Jesus walks on water, and he's resurrected, and you have uh, Moses dividing the waters at of the Red Sea, and there's all these things that some people would put in the box of mythology, but there's other people that would say absolutely Moses did go to the Red Sea and he did part the waters. Noah did build a ship and he did and it did flood the earth, and Jesus did walk on water, and then eventually he was resurrected. We so there's those who will accept those ideas, and those who would put them in the box of myth, and then you have uh, the gods that are mentioned in Greek mythology, Zeus and Mercury and Eros and Mars and just so many of them that we we kind of dismiss those ideas because they came from a source that were pagan, and they but again, to me, I think there's a source for mythology, and whatever that myth or whatever that source was, that's the real. That's where it comes down to. And then you have Saint Nicholas, who is also into that category, where you actually, and here's the real on that is Saint Nicholas is a real person of history.
Hmm.
And but how do we answer the question to our children, is Santa Claus real? Is the magic that is attached to him, is that real? And so I'm like I said, I do this. I chase after everything, and I try to do it in the most honest and deliberate way that I possibly can. And so whenever I that thought came to my mind, I said, wait a minute, whoa, 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 whoa. Saint Nicholas, real person. If you're a Latter-day Saint or somebody who believes in an afterlife, Saint Nicholas has not left the building. He still exists
Yeah.
in spirit form. And so therefore, how can we say that Saint Nicholas does not exist? What about the magic that goes along with that? And him coming down the chimneys and delivering packages to every school boy, and knowing who's been good and who's been bad. All right. Well, there's a lot of ways you can look at that and say, yeah, absolutely happens. If God knows all things, and Saint Nicholas, being who he was, is a spirit, and he has access to the Father, then the Father has access to who is good and bad on this earth. Then those things can be related to Saint Nicholas in that way. All right. But also, the Christmas season drives us as older folks and younger too to go and do those things for our friends and family at that time because of the special occasion of Christ's birth. But we also are driven by St. Nicholas and his benevolence and his love for those who were impoverished and what he did for them. So the spirit of Christmas or St. Nicholas is instilled in each one of us as we go out in honor of his role in the givings of gifts. And it's kind of funny that I had a discussion with some Latter-day Saints, and they weren't too what would you say, keen on the idea when I presented that idea. And then I said, look, in our religion, we say the spirit of Elijah is the one who's driving the the work that we do when it comes to the bringing the fathers to the sons and the sons to the fathers. That's the spirit of Elijah. Why can't the spirit of St. Nicholas have that same impact on those who are giving in after his name? You know what I mean? So that's I think that's a very credible way of looking at it. And you think about it. So St. Nicholas's spirit now, he can go around the world and influence the parents and people of this world who want to give happiness to another person by giving gifts. And so his influence is felt all the way around the earth. So he does go down the chimneys. He goes through the front doors. He goes through the sidewalls. He goes through everything. He cannot be contained in one place. He is able to move about the earth as he wishes because he is has no because he's not physical anymore. So when we think about the magic of Santa Claus, and does the reindeer, if you believe that animals live in heaven and they're resurrected or they have place in heaven, then why can't he have 8 reindeers who fly about the world? I mean, there's a lot of possibilities that we can do with this when we talk about the spiritual, this the the realm of spirits. There is no there is no wall that we can put up that says a spirit can't. We don't know those walls. All we know is that that the spirits of those who have been dead for some time, they have the opportunity to come and present themselves to us. And so anyway, Tim, good
Hey,
evening.
good evening.
How you doing?
All right, just got home, so
Well, good, good. Glad you joined us.
yeah.
We were discussing, well, the whole thing is about Santa Claus and
Oh,
the reality of Santa Claus and whether we can, as grown-ups, accept Santa Claus' role in our society, or is he too much of a myth that he is just put off to the side? And one of the things that I was first talked about is how when we are growing, when we have peers around us uh, that are trying to put themselves above us by how they approach um, different questions in life, whether it is the question about the Bible and Noah's flood and Jesus Christ walking on water and Moses dividing the waters. All these things to some people would be called myths. And then for
uh,
us as believers, we would say these are not myths. But
right,
some people are trying to put themselves into a category. Well, I'm the smartest person in the room because I don't believe all those childlike ideas. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
So Santa Claus gets put in that same box in that category.
Well, I mean, we do know that there was a Saint Nick or whatever his name was
St.
back then,
Nicholas,
and
yeah.
yeah, and he did do a lot of good things. So it's kind of taken after that.
But
Um,
but it does here's where I developed my so I have to talk so a long time ago I had to come up with I don't lie, you know what I mean? And I will
right,
not lie to my children. I don't care what the subject is, I will not lie to my children. So you can
right,
only imagine, huh?
right. You know,
And so
that's
you can
fine.
only imagine, and here I am a grandfather. Do you think I'm going to lie to my grandchildren? Absolutely not. I will not lie to anybody. So I had to come up with something. I had to really face the challenge of of allowing my children to still keep the magic and the dreams that they have during Christmas time about Santa Claus, or I could destroy those dreams and those hopes and that magic by just saying, here's the bottom line. It doesn't exist because I'm not going to lie to you. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with, looking up the real story of Saint Nicholas and reading it to them, so they understand. But I don't know. I mean, no, I mean, you don't want to teach a child that there really is a Santa Claus in the North Pole delivering gifts. Um, so how do you balance that out? Well, you just tell the kids the truth and tell them we have fun with it, but
Well,
there's not
here's
real reindeer don't really fly, and
well again. I mean, as I was talking to Robin and we're doing this Zoom this live stream, the way I approached it is this: we have the Holy Spirit that influences us. Is that right?
yeah,
Okay, the Spirit. Is that right?
right, right,
And the memories of Jesus Christ live within us. Is that right?
right,
Because we have those stories. And being part of God, He's a part of that. You understand? A part of the Holy
right,
Spirit that indwells within us.
right.
Okay. So here's where I came up with the real answer for myself and why I say that St. Nicholas still lives today and he is not seen his last breath. He's a spirit.
Okay.
St. Nicholas died, his spirit rose, went to heaven or went to paradise, and he
Mm-hmm.
still exists as a spirit. And if St. Nicholas, it's just like if I die, I'm still AJ, but I'm just a spirit until the
Yeah, but
resurrection.
he left a legacy, and that's what
Right,
we.
right. But he not only does he leave his memories, but his spirit still is part, it's still part of God's place in all things. He's still got presence in somewhere. He just doesn't magically disappear into nothingness. He's
Oh
still,
no.
No.
you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah,
he
you see him in every store around Christmas time.
we know that. But but even though that they play a role, they're role playing Saint Nicholas in that way,
hmm
but they're still it's like this whenever we are it is a Latter-day Saint. I'm within my covenant that I make, I'm said to take upon me the name of Jesus Christ. Am I
hmm
Jesus Christ? Or am I just taking upon me the name Christian as you would,
hmm
or Jesus Christ as I would say? And therefore, even though that I'm not Jesus Christ, but I act in his name, I am role playing his part while I'm here on this earth. It, again, we are the pure love of God is charity, meaning that if you have God within you, everything that is extending from you that is of God, you are God is living through you to again address many of the needs of other people in the world.
Hmm.
Again, and what we have done was taken Jesus Christ as our exemplar and said, this is the example that he showed us so that we can go ahead and show that love and kindness that he showed to others and forgiveness because he did it for us and he did it for
Right.
others. And
Right.
so Saint Nicholas has that same what would you say, that same power over us when it comes to going out and buying gifts because it was something that a great man had done for us. And we do, and not only that, the greatest of all gifts is Jesus Christ, and we know
Right.
that. And
Right.
and yes, we need to tie back to Jesus Christ and say this is the reason. But it helps when we have others in place that also showed Christ-like love towards his fellow man to also champion or be our heroes. I think
Right.
it's easy to say that Peter, the apostles have to become our heroes because they are the testifiers of the reality of Jesus Christ. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
we have to look to them and say, I trust you. I trust what you said in your writings. You know what I mean?
Yes. Uh-huh.
We have to look at Moses and say, I trust you. I trust that you parted the Red Sea. I trust that you uh, 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 caused the great Exodus by the power of God to bring the children of Israel out of. He becomes our hero. David is
Right.
our hero, and there's nothing wrong with Saint Nicholas playing having that same role in our lives of being a great hero in his time and us becoming like him or become because it points us back to Jesus Christ. I think there's a great value into us to have real heroes that actually create an avenue back to our trust in God
Right.
and our desire to be back with Him and to do all things in our life so that we are charitable to others as Christ was charitable to us. And so
Right.
that's why I say that Saint Nicholas is I say why cast Saint Nicholas out? Why say that Santa Claus is not real? Just because the guy that's dressed up in his Santa Claus suit is not the real Saint Nicholas, but he's taking upon him the name of Santa Claus because there was a Santa Claus that was real, and he's attached to that in that way.
Right.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. Don't
yeah.
have a
So
problem
you know
with
what I
that.
mean? So
Yeah.
yes, that's Santa Claus because Saint Nicholas was a real person, and now this person here has taken upon him that name and that role at this time, so that we can have that memory with us that there was somebody of that goodness at the time. Just like
Yeah.
we just like when we look at the movie Chosen or the show Chosen or
Right.
any movie that portrays, we're not seeing Jesus Christ. We're seeing the portrayal of Jesus Christ. Every picture we look at is a portrayal of somebody's understanding of what Jesus Christ
Right.
is. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we
Exactly.
look upon these things and say, I admire the man who's represented in these pictures.
Mhm.
So again, like I said, I think we can do this. I think we can bring the magic back to the world by giving up on the things that we try to what we say. Again, I want to be the adult in the room. I want to look like I'm not the childlike person that I used to be, and yet who's 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 the representation of the kingdom of heaven? Children. They still have the magic. They still have the love for things that we dismiss. And
Right.
so yeah, I think there's a very again we're talking about Saint Nicholas and how and can we bring him back in? But the problem with bringing Saint Nicholas in is that because of his charitable ways through gift giving, it takes away from the focus of Jesus Christ during Christmas time.
If
And
we let it, yes.
yeah, it really does. I totally 100% agree with that.
Yeah,
And
and that's
we get so focused in on Santa Claus that we forget that a lot of people, I mean, look at the decorations. There 90% of the decorations on houses is about Santa Claus and the Grinch and
right.
and all those. You might have a nativity every other house, but most, you know what I mean? It's just like,
Yeah.
I mean, we have a couple of places in the area here where we're going to uh, travel to. It's not very far, where they have whole streets and whole neighborhoods filled with Christmas decorations.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Got them around
It's
too.
you know what I mean? It's like they got everything out there. Once in a while, you'll see a nativity, but most of the focus is on the magic of Christmas that is portrayed by Hollywood.
Exactly.
So there
And
is,
that's where we have to add in the teaching to our kids,
yes.
and grandkids. Our
So this
grandkids
person,
know
yeah.
that there's no real Santa Claus as far as, North Pole, that kind of thing.
Well,
But we have a lot of fun with it.
yeah, but I think it's okay to say that he lives in the North Pole. I don't think he's limited where he can be at any given time because he is spirit. You know what I mean? That doesn't mean he's got, that the manufacturing facility up in the North Pole, but I think that we don't have we again, like I said, we only know what we know here,
Right.
and like I said, the if you are a person, and I was just talking to the audience before and talking to Rob, if you believe that animals, all dogs go to heaven, well, so do reindeers, and those reindeers, I'm sure they could fly. You know what I mean?
That's true.
So there's nothing that's so we again, even though that we can make some fun of it, but there's a real, like I said, a seriousness here to say, is it possible that things are more magical in the heavens, in that spirit world of spirits, than we want to give credence to? You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we limit everything to what we see here on this physical earth, but in that place, we don't know what that magic looked like.
No, no, we don't. And
I,
won't know
I,
till we get there.
yeah, I have to tell you this dream that I had Sunday morning. It was just crazy. Um, dreams are driven by a lot of different things, but this one was funny. So I'm dreaming that me and my wife are dead, that we're living in the hereafter, and we still are driving a car.
Beep beep.
I'm serious.
Oh yeah.
In my dream, me and my wife are together in a car driving while in the hereafter.
Interesting.
And I was like,
Very interesting.
and so we ended up going to Hawaii.
Driving to Hawaii. Yeah, there
Hawaii,
you go.
yes. But in my mind, I'm like, there's nothing, there's nothing different from what we experience here on this earth that we don't experience there. And there's some things I've already told you about the intimacy between man and woman. I don't say that's going to happen there either. But what I'm
Right.
saying, it seemed like it was just a fun dream. Finally, one of them fun dreams and not cataclysmic dreams, but it was like we were just strolling along in the car and we were dead and we were just having a good old time just driving to Hawaii and stuff like that. So I'm again, what that example says, why give up on the dreams and the magic of the spirit world that's to come? You know what I mean? It's
Right.
there's so much there that is going to be given to us. that we probably don't, I mean, like I said, we don't know. It's un, un it's unobtainable as we exist right now. So again, we try to stifle everything into a place where we don't look like that have again we're somebody would call me crazy, I imagine sometimes, but that's
Hmm.
okay. I mean, I have my Latter-day Saint friends tell me that I was wrong about Santa Claus and his reality. And I said, look, I said, okay. I said, and I said this before to Robin and for the rest of the audience. I said, you believe that the spirit of Elijah is the one who's driving the people into genealogy and doing the temple work. Is that right? They said, yeah. Well, why can't the spirit of Saint Nicholas also be driving us to do the good things that we do when it comes to whenever it's Christmas time? Oh, they didn't like that at all.
Right.
So, but most of the people that, I mean, everybody that I talked to that was outside of the church, they accepted the idea that what I was saying about St. Nicholas was correct, that they could accept that idea because it's fun to go back there. It's fun to go there. You know what I mean? Again,
Right.
like I said, I want to give you some time on this. I mean, uh, what it, you're a little bit older than me, but not too much.
Right.
Is it different now, Christmas, than it was when we were kids, as far as the focus on, or does it seem like it's just about the same when it comes to what is our focus whenever it comes to Christmas? Was it Jesus Christ at that time, or have we all been for a long time in this place of Santa Claus? Because
Well, that's
in my household, it was Santa Claus. You know what I mean? That's where it was.
well, trying to think back, in my childhood years. I mean, I knew all along there wasn't a real Santa Claus, but it was fun to, pretend and joke around with the parents and all. Um, but and today we got so many movies, that we didn't have back then. Um, that Santa Claus is maybe more prominent now than back then. I'm trying to think. Yeah.
Because a lot of the movies that were coming out at the time were Frosty the Snowman, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeers. Those were during the early
Yeah,
70s,
those were
60s.
my childhood things,
Yeah,
Yeah.
those were
uh,
around when I was a child. You know what I mean?
and
Uh,
Charlie Brown.
Charlie Brown, and
Yeah.
so
But
there was
we didn't have, Santa Claus 1, 2, and 3.
right,
And I love those movies, and Home Alone. Um, you know, um, there's just a lot of,
a lot of Hollywood in it now,
yeah, there's a lot of Hollywood in it. Uh,
and
it's
they've taken the place of the again, I think there's a lot of I love the Christian movies that they produce that are Christ. They're mostly Christ center. I love those, and I think
hmm.
for the I mean Elf. I hate Elf. So there's
Oh,
some
really? We like him.
I hate Elf. I can't stand
I
that
enjoy.
actor. That actor just drives me out of my
Does
Will
he?
Ferrell. There was a Will Ferrell and that my great grandfather shot.
Oh,
He
oh my
tried to get out
gosh.
the window and run away. He was because he didn't want to be in his house chained up to a bed, and so he says, "You ain't chaining me up to that bed."
Hmm.
And my grandpa said, "Well, you ain't gonna stay in this house without chains on because we got too many folks in here." And that Will Ferrell just jumped out the window, and my grandfather shot him dead. Didn't even
Oh my
hesitate.
goodness.
Wow.
He was a
Did he go to
lawman, so he could
did
do
he go to
that.
prison for it?
What's that?
Did he go to prison for it?
Oh, well, actually, yeah, Sam Paul, which was the um, inspiration for Rooster Cogburn. He
Mhm.
was not only was he a Chickasaw, a lawman of the Chickasaw Nation in Oklahoma, but he was also a U.S. Marshal,
Mm.
and so that's why Rooster could go into the Indian Nation because he was had dual uh,
Citizenship.
Yeah, yeah.
authority. So,
Authority.
so so again, my grandfather, he was a lawman, and he did go to prison for a year until
Oh, really?
so because of all the things that he had done as a lawman. He but he did get pardoned by Chester B. Arthur.
So what year would have been this been?
Oh, that's 1850s or 60, something like that.
1856.
Like
Okay.
Back in the good old days.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so again, he was quite quite the villainous um, as far as his authority. I mean, his and we're getting off into my family. I
Yeah.
think my family is crazy. Um, he
Mm.
he he was married, and some guy was kind of going and talking about how he was treating his wife and putting a bad name on Sam Paul. And Sam Paul was kind of young, about 19 years old or so, and so Sam Paul took his friend down there to the bar where this guy was. Uh, he was president. Chester B. Arthur was president between 1881 and 1885. So anyway, so around so in between that time is when he gave my grandfather.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So anyway, so like I said, he had went down to the bar with his friend, and he knew this guy was in there that had been talking bad about him. And so finally, they got him into an argument with him, and so they just shot him 8 or 9 times. And he
Golly.
wasn't a lawman at that time, but because of the way that the Wild West was, or Oklahoma was, they didn't get put in jail at all because
Mm.
the guys started, they were fighting, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
yeah,
Interesting.
so yeah, and actually, Sam Paul was a progressive in the Chickasaw Nation. He wanted to allow uh, the white man to integrate with the Chickasaw Nation, and eventually it became such a hot subject that his son, Sam Paul's son, actually shot Sam Paul, his dad.
Oh, okay.
And then a couple of years later, the 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 son's cousin shot him for shooting his dad.
Oh, okay.
I shot the
Golly.
sheriff.
I shot the sheriff. I didn't shoot
So
the deputy.
yes. So yeah, we've got some family stories, and but anyway, so like I said, there's uh,
Mm.
again, Will Ferrell, we were getting on the mill. There's movies out there that I just refuse to watch. And even though that my family, they put it on, I was like, and I only snickered twice the last time I watched it. It just made my stomach turn.
Um,
But I think some of my favorite movies, there's one out there that I've watched a few times. It's The Miracle Maker. It's a it's a really good movie. Uh it's it's on some streaming programs, but that's a really good one. And I just love any Christ-centered Christmas movie that I can
yeah.
find. Those are my favorite ones. I mean, there's always the cartoon Grinch. I don't like the one with Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey. Yeah.
I love it, but again,
Got a
the
little
things that are
crude.
a little crude, and so I'm not into crude. Um, and
I guess he
so
became a Christian.
what's that?
I
Oh
guess he
yeah,
became a Christian.
yes, he
Yeah.
Yeah,
did. He
that's my
became a Christian.
understanding. Yes, he did.
Yeah, he did. Jim Carrey became a Christian. He
Hmm.
To him that there was all darkness and stuff like that. I think is the way he expressed it. Any favorite movies that you guys have that we could talk about?
I just love the Charlie Brown Christmas because you know they actually tell the story. You
Yeah.
know what Christmas is about. Um, I mean,
I
we
love
get a
that one too. Yeah,
we have fun with the Home Alone ones, at least the first two.
yeah. Well, the only thing is there's some crudeness in
But yeah, there is in that one.
why do
Yeah,
they do
In,
that?
in Home
Why can't you
Alone.
just leave that
yeah,
out?
there are some innuendos and stuff in it, but
I'm just like, why do you have to put that in there? Because no matter what, your audience is going to watch it no matter what. They don't need
hmm
you to add anything to it to make it more enticing. Actually, you turn me off and I don't want to watch it, you know?
Right.
So,
hmm
Yeah.
I mean, that's
the one that's out in the movie theater we saw last week, it's
what's that
really
one
good.
called?
Um, the greatest was what is it? I can't ever get the right name of it.
Isn't that the
The nativity. Um, oh shoot, what is it called? I went and saw it.
that's the
Um,
one by Jenkins, wasn't it?
yeah. I just
What's his
don't
name?
know. Dallas.
Dallas. Let's see.
What is the name of it? Nativity?
It's got a few words in there for
Yeah, and I never get them straight, but yeah, it's really good. It was it was very moving. It really was.
I imagine. Come on. Where is it? Uh, I know he's got the best Christmas pageant ever.
That's it. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So yeah, it's definitely one. I don't know. I don't like going to the movies. I mean, I paid a dollar or two for my theater room that I have, so I just wait for them to get on videos and watch it at that time. But I'll probably wait then. But yeah, that looked like a pretty fun one, and
Yeah.
I can't wait to see it actually in a lot of ways. But it, that those kinds of movies, that I imagine because of the focus on the nativity, it was a
Right.
Christ-centered movie because that's what he's all about is Christ, you know. And it's lucky that we have such a man as Dallas Jenkins to really take Jesus Christ and his story to a whole nother level. And
Oh yeah.
it, it's just magical what he's done with that. Rob, do you like to, have you ever watched The Chosen?
Maybe one or two episodes.
Oh, you ain't, you,
Yeah. We're waiting for the
this
fifth
season.
season.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
going to be hard.
Well,
Yeah,
I don't think they're going to get to the crucifixion until the sixth or seventh. My
Mm.
understanding
I doubt it. I think this is his last season.
is it.
Jonathan Rumi, I think this is it.
Um,
I mean, I could be wrong, but I mean, there's a lot that I guess you could be right that there's a lot going on in the story when when it comes to that point where he's entering into the city on the back of that thing.
oh, I was just looking it up. It's season six, so it'll be the next one.
Oh, it's going to be in season 6 when they're going to uh,
Yeah,
have the crucifixion.
and the resurrection will occur in season seven.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, when
So
those
maybe at the
come
end of
out, it'll probably be next, not this coming Easter, probably the next one, maybe. I don't know.
what that
It doesn't really say when it's coming out.
that's
Mm.
kind of interesting. That, like I said, there's a lot of going on during the life of Jesus in the Gospels when it comes
Mhm.
to his final uh,
Yeah.
approach into Jerusalem. Is that right?
Yeah, I think it will be interesting for them to do the book of Acts.
Yeah. Uh, so there's a lot going on, and like I said, we're blessed by Dallas Jenkins,
Hmm.
and you know, as far as I remember, his story goes, and just to prop up the Church of Jesus Christ, it was Angel Studios, which is a couple of good old Mormons that I
Hmm.
call Mormons, Latter-day Saints, that actually helped him get this thing off the
Yeah,
foundation, or put it on its way, because they were the only ones that was willing to invest time and energy to make
right.
this thing happen. Now
But
the
I don't
job,
think they're linked to Angel anymore, are they?
no, they again, Dallas Jenkins got big enough and found the way that he could go in a different, or
Right.
do it privately. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't, but he
No,
still
he's
has.
Catholic, I believe.
No,
Yeah.
No,
Dallas
no,
Jenkins.
not Dallas. I'm talking about the guy that plays Jesus.
Oh yeah,
Oh
Jonathan
yeah, yeah,
really is.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
he's Catholic.
Yeah.
I
So
understand he's a Jesuit.
Oh,
is
is
that
he?
right? Yeah. So like I said, yeah, I'm really glad for like I said, The Chosen is just again, it's Jesus Christ on steroids when it comes to the story. And Rob,
Yeah, it's
I know
really
that
good.
you've only watched a couple of episodes, but I think it's worthwhile for for those who are maybe maybe having a hard time with faith in Jesus Christ.
Hmm.
If you watch that, if you start watching The Chosen, and you're having trouble with your faith in Jesus Christ, it can only turn you one way,
Yeah,
because it's
yeah.
just that well done.
He
I think
does
you
a
get
really
really
good
personal
job.
with him. He, it's like he's brought Jesus Christ back to the forefront. He's brought him into. I mean, I'm sorry, but the 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 church videos that they put of Jesus Christ,
Hmm.
boring.
I like that one scene. I always think about it. You know, the guy that had the lame leg and he healed the the his wife
His
or something of
wife with,
blindness.
yes,
And then he was, he wouldn't heal him with his leg, except for finally one time he went away with his wife and he started walking normally. And he,
yes.
that's just really melted. You know what scene I'm talking
He
about?
said,
That
yeah,
really,
because he was refusing to even be healed.
mhm.
And Jesus Christ, why But it is, oh, I love that scene. It really,
It was really tough dealing with Thomas though, and the
yeah.
loss of his fiance.
And
I
I
mean,
love
of course, we don't know if that's a real part of it, but it put an interesting perspective.
I love I mean, the character, the way that he's drawing on the real circumstances in life, and putting them
Hmm.
in to the lives in which the apostles, the disciples lived, is
Hmm.
really just magical. Meaning that Peter, he's scandalous, when he's dealing with, he's trying to, I mean, he's trying to save his house. He's trying to save his family, and he's doing everything he can. And he even sells himself out to the devil, basically,
Hmm.
in so many, in some ways, because he sold himself out to the Romans. And then you have Matthew, who sold himself out to the Romans to gain riches. And you have
Right.
these two guys going at each other for a while. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the Matthew character is a very interesting character, almost like he has autism or something,
Right,
Like
right, right.
I don't know. Yeah, it's
Well,
kind of
that's the way he's
interesting.
portrayed in that.
Hmm.
But you can see that that they're moving away from that autism, and they're actually, you know, giving him some maturity in that position,
Right,
in that situation. Um,
right.
and I think Z, which is Simon the Zealot, I
Hmm.
think he's a great character. I mean, they're all great characters. I think,
Yeah, they are.
and uh, and John the Baptist was
Oh, yeah, that was really
portrayed
good.
quite well. And it's kind of, isn't it watching this stuff, or just the reality of the fact that Jesus Christ is I mean, you read the story in the Bible, and here you have this babe who comes to a virgin named Mary, and he's to be cared for by this mother and his father
Mm-hmm.
on this earth. And eventually things go bad. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? For the apostles and for Jesus Christ, they absolutely go to the worst situation. I mean, eventually Jesus we understand that Jesus Christ is becomes is resurrected in the process. But that process leading up to that resurrection, it's pretty.
It's pretty
It's
intense.
the it's overwhelming in a lot of ways. You know, you want. I mean, whenever this is portrayed in the Chosen, you just hope it stops. You know what I mean? You just hope you can change the story. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I would probably, I'm a Star Wars fan. I don't know if you guys are Star Wars fans, but I'm a Star Wars fan.
Yeah, I like
And every time, and I don't watch the third episode of Star Wars, meaning the Return of the Sith. Just it just hurts so bad. You want you don't want that part of the story to ever be true. But in
Yeah,
reality, that's the only way that the rest of the story is told is
right.
because of that. You know what I mean? And again, with Jesus Christ, it's the only way the rest of the story is told is that all these other things have to take place in order for in order for the resurrection, in order for the victory over death. And again, it's very demanding upon anybody that has a good heart and cares to say,
Yeah.
I want the story to stop. I don't want that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I remember back in the 80s when the Empire Strikes Back came out. My ambulance partner and we went to see that. We got to talk, and he said, Tim, can you imagine how old we're going to be when all these movies finish? I said, oh my God, because we were just in our early 30s, and no, it was just, man, he was right. Here we are. It's
There's, I don't, I can't watch the newer stuff too much. I watched The Mandalorian. I watched
yeah, we like
Ahsoka,
that.
but some of that stuff I just can't get into because it's crowding. It's they've crowded it too much. They forced it upon us too much, and the direction that they've taken this. Uh, the story of Star Wars is not, what would you say, in the right direction at all. Again, you know, when I wanted you think about the nature of man and woman. Man is looking for a hero that actually will help him become the next hero, become
Hmm.
the 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 one that is that's inspiring to him to become that one that the knight on shining armor coming to rescue the damsel in distress. We're looking for that. You know what I mean? We're looking for that
Hmm.
hero that inspires us to do that. What is the female looking for? They're looking for the knight in shining armor who carries them away into the happily ever after dream. And so when you switch those roles in movies, it's one thing to have it's one thing to have Wonder Woman as she is. She still has sex appeal. She's still a hero, but she still has sex appeal. But Ray and Leia and all these other characters they and Ahsoka, they don't have that same kind of sex appeal that was that 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 Wonder Woman would have. You know what I mean? And so,
Right.
you know what I mean? So it doesn't fit. So they're trying to play the masculine part of the movie, and create a hero out of themselves, like they are the knight in shining armor who comes and rescues what?
Wow.
Their damsel in distress, who we don't even know is a damsel or not,
Right.
because they
Right.
can't figure out what the gender they are. You know what I mean? So
Uh-huh.
because they tried to reverse the roles of characters within these movies, it just completely take took away from the natural instinct of what drives us as a male species and as a female species, and that's why they're just falling apart. And so, anyway, what do you think about that, there, Robert, Tim, and on that part on heroes, or what is, I don't know. We get back to something better. I was just
Yeah.
thinking about, again, when we look for heroes, we think about Jesus Christ. He's our hero. He's the one that was willing to put himself, and he rescues the bridegroom from themselves. You know what I mean? He
Mm-hmm.
he's absolutely in that role. I think that's why there's a dominance of male figures in the scriptures, specifically, the Bible, in a lot of ways, because again, they become the heroes, even though that Ruth is a hero and Esther is a hero. But those stories don't really take away from the fact that they are heroes in their proper place. If you can understand, Esther
Right.
comes to the king as his wife and begs for, and puts her life on the line as a wife to the king. You know what I mean? And Ruth is again another hero. Again, going to the extent that I can't remember the story of Ruth so much, but again, they're playing. The story fits the role of a female, and the story fits the role of the male in this in our natural instinct of what drives us to be attached to the characters that are within the scriptures. And so again, that's why, again, getting off the subject of Saint Nicholas or Santa Claus,
Right.
but I think there's a lot to what Hollywood's doing to destroy the natural instincts of man, what and woman, that they have, um, that they're losing their power over us in a lot of ways for that reason. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think Hollywood is finally seeing that I don't think they're doing. My wife and child went and seen the movie Wicked, or whatever that
Yeah,
movie
we
is,
did too.
and they said they were the only two in the theater.
Hmm.
Wow.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty powerful language when you think about, and we've got 60,000 people in our town or in our city. So I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it's not like, you know we're just, some small village in the North Pole, as they say. We actually have a population here, but yet they were the only two in that theater, of a movie that should be pretty popular. And so anyway, so
Yeah. There's a movie uh going back to Jesus, not Christmas so much, but have you
right.
seen the movie? It was put out in like 2010. It was called Risen.
Hmm.
You got to look it up. It's a fascinating, it's an uh interesting movie because it it shows the centurion, the one that was in charge of making sure the guys were dead on the cross and putting the spear in, making sure all that was done. He ends up encountering Jesus in this movie, and it man, does it ever move you? It's powerful. I mean, it's fiction with reality. We do you do see Lord risen, but you know, it's just you got to look it up and watch it. You can probably watch it for nothing.
Yeah. I think
But it's
I've
called
I think I've watched it. It's Risen, this is Wikipedia what it says. Risen is a 2016 biblical drama film directed
Oh,
by
16? Okay.
Kevin Reynolds and written by Reynolds and Paul Aiello, an American Spanish co-producer. The film stars Joseph Fiennes, Tom Felton, Peter Firth, Cliff Curtis, and details Roman soldiers' search for Jesus' body following his resurrection. That's
Right.
interesting.
It
So,
really is. And when he comes face to face with Jesus, it's just powerful. You know, you wonder how many people experience that, you know. Um,
that, let's see, if I'm going to watch it, uh, it says it's on Stars. Looks like it's on Amazon. You can rent it on YouTube and
we have the
Microsoft.
DVD that we can play in our car.
Oh yeah. So yeah, you
Mhm.
can watch it on Prime Video
That's
and
it.
Stars for free. So that's good.
Okay.
Yeah, have you seen it,
Rob?
Robert?
No, but I do have Amazon Prime.
Yeah, bring it up, Risen. It's a fascinating show, fascinating
I'm gonna
movie.
have to go back and watch that. That might be something
Yeah,
that I'll be interested in.
James loves to watch it. My son, he
I
loves.
bet. I bet.
So
I seen him. He was creeping around behind you.
yeah, he was here a minute ago. So
He's such a good kid.
yeah, he
He
really is.
really, what a what a pleasure it must be to have somebody of that
Yeah,
value and of that greatness in your home. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It's a struggle.
and his
It,
three sisters love him to death and take care of him too.
Mhm.
yeah, I just find it a very magical world in that way. When you have somebody of that caliber, and it's a blessing. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
There's some hard things that you have to go through, but the blessings that come from those experiences that win the day is uh, worth a great amount in our life experiences. And so you got to say,
There he
"Hey,
is.
James, that's what I wanted to
You're gonna
see."
say hey, say
Hey,
hey, hey.
James.
Hey, James.
James, this is Robert. What are you talking about? Your I you don't talk about IVs. Good gracious. Hey, where are you gonna go? Who are you gonna go see this weekend on Saturday? TSO, Trans-Siberian Orchestra. This will be his
There
third
you
time to
go.
see them. We're taking him
Hmm.
down on
So
Saturday
he
to
can
see that.
hear. So
Oh
James
yeah,
can
he
hear.
hears fine. He just can't. He's nonverbal.
Right, right. Well, I'm glad you. I'm glad to see you,
He
James.
hears
This
everything.
you're.
And oh, he's going to go in North Carolina. They have the Polar Express at the
Oh,
train
that's cool.
museum. And so he's my daughter Michelle is going to take him down with her family to ride the Polar Express. So,
James, you're an incredible man.
oh, wait a minute. He can't hear that. Hang on a minute.
Do
I have you
I
off
have to
of
chew
the
my cabbage
I
twice on that?
here. Now he
James,
can hear you.
James, can you hear me? I say you're an incredible man.
Say thank you. Uh, TSO. Yes, you're going to go see TSO. You're going to see them
Yes.
Saturday.
Yeah.
Transcription. I love that. This will be his third time.
Oh,
Wow.
wonderful.
So,
Wonderful.
uh,
Yeah, it's always good to see James and with you and
yeah,
uh,
yeah. And you do a lot of walking. Yes, you do. You and Michelle go to the mall and walk. So, what in the world? I don't recognize that sign. He always creates signs for different things. So we have to figure out what he's talking about.
So does he write or anything like that?
Yeah, he does spell out things like he'll spell out and tell us, mall or TSO or
Well, I'm talking about as
in
far as being able to put it on
sentences.
paper.
No, not complete. No, not sentences. No,
Okay, but he can articulate through sign language in a lot of
that that and some of his he'll put down words that he wants to go to Duke. He loves to go to the hospital or to the doctors down at Duke. So they'll write Duke Hospital. I say, "Oh, James, no, we're not going to the hospital."
Mhm.
Oh,
So,
wow. Well, but yeah, so such a special kid.
hmm
Appreciate you allowing us that moment there
hmm
with him. And so yeah, I think if I remember correctly, Risen is I've seen that one, but I'll probably watch that one again since you've alerted me to it.
Yeah.
Again, there's so many out there, and
Oh,
again,
there really are.
and I'm hoping that we take a step back, and even though that for myself, I can say out of a surety, the magic of Santa Claus lives on. You can't take that away from me. And I don't care if you
No,
think
yeah.
I'm nuts or not. I don't care. I love it, because I
hmm
came to the conclusion it is. Uh, I guess you could say that, well, you believe in Joseph Smith in his first vision, so he not too far away.
Well, except,
That's not
there
too
was a
far
Saint
away.
Nick, and he did do good things. And so I
Anyway,
don't even remember what year he lived. Was it before a
what, St.
thousand?
Nicholas? It was
Yeah.
1071 or something like that.
Oh, is that when it was? Yeah.
Yeah, I could bring it back and
Oh,
see.
I was just curious. I was thinking of somewhere around 1,000.
Yeah, it was 1000 AD. Uh, let's see. Well, maybe I'm wrong here. I'm looking.
hmm
Okay. Traditionally, 15 March 2000, 270 to 6 December 343.
Oh, so he was way back.
Yeah, so he was
Gosh, he was just a
right
couple
there in the
hundred
midst.
years after.
He was right in the mix of it all.
Yeah. Wow. I didn't realize it was that far back.
Yeah, so that's quite interesting. So yeah, so he again it we hopefully what would you say, the more that we believe in the magic of Christmas and draw
hmm
back into Jesus Christ, which is the real magic, hopefully we can get this world straightened out. But I don't think anything that we do is going to really be what we want. We don't. We're never going to change the course in which the world is on as it is right now. It's just going that way because the man is becoming more and more corrupt. They're becoming more and more uh, because of the riches of the world.
hmm
There's a lot of rich in the world. I say that there's absolutely no turning back, except for you know a great cataclysmic event that draws everything implodes upon itself, and then we draw back to our roots and what really matters in life. Because I mean that's again
Yeah.
we're the expectation of of the coming of Jesus Christ in our lifetime. I'm like, how does it happen? There's so much that needs to take place before that actually happens that I don't even know. I'm 59 right now. If
hmm
if it, I just don't see that it's going to. And all we can do, and I've said this before, the only thing that we really can do in our lifetime is do the things that we can do, not
hmm
try to fix the world, but fix our to try to strengthen the family, try to strengthen the our society as a whole. Get into the church and be involved in places where there's like-minded people that are um, uh, uh, trying to uh, build the same part of the same kingdom that you're trying to build.
Yeah.
It's just
Uh,
that way. You know what I
this
mean?
this this election that we just had, that is giving us a chance. I don't know if it's
Yeah.
a final chance, but it's a chance for us to pull this nation back. You know. Um, oh, and AJ, I just sent you a picture that was at our pastor Sunday was talking about it. He put this up on screen, and I took a shot of it. It's really fascinating. I've never seen it before like this. But when it shows up, I don't know if there's a way for you to take
I'm
it and
doing it
let
right
Robert
now.
see if Robert can see it.
I will share it right now.
You see it?
Yep.
Isn't that interesting?
It says this is the reason, or this is the season, this is the reason. That is
Yeah.
That's powerful,
I've
isn't
profound.
it?
seen I've seen that before.
Oh,
Yeah.
have you? I hadn't.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that's again, we go back to again this hard thing that we have to realize that Jesus Christ suffered
Hmm.
beyond any measure of what we could understand. And I don't,
Yeah.
and like I said, in my position that I'm in, I still say that the Garden of Gethsemane is the one thing that separates him from everybody else that was cruel, that was treated so cruelly by the Romans or anybody else. I
Hmm.
mean, you think about all the apostles and how they died. One of them was chopped up into bits. The other one boiled and there's and you think about all the martyrs that have died on behalf of the of our Savior, William Tyndale and Joan
Hmm.
of Arc, which is a great hero. Now there's a hero and a half. You want to
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it. It's on Fox Nation, and I haven't pulled
what's
it up
that?
to watch it. Uh, Joan of Arc.
Oh, that's I mean, you think
Yeah,
of there's a heroine, there's a real hero.
yeah.
I mean, again, there's so many of them, but again, so many people have been brutally murdered and in such a way. I know that that Jesus Christ is the only begotten. He's the one that never sinned in his
Hmm.
life. But yet what separates him and the cruelty that they shown him compared to everybody else that was shown that same kind of cruelty, because I don't think he's the only one that was whipped with a cat of nine
Oh
tails.
no, they used to do that all the time.
They
That was a
flogged
big,
everybody. I
they
don't
did.
think he's
Some
he
people never survived that. Some people died while that was
right,
going on.
right. And then you have this crown of thorns. I think crown of thorns probably separates him from all. That's another one
Well,
that.
the reason they did that is because they were crowning him a king, you
Yes,
know.
Yeah.
I understand that, but that might
Mhm.
separate them. But I think the Garden of Gethsemane, when he went through that, and then going through all the things that uh, happened after that,
Mhm.
all that combined, there is no other that ever went through that kind of torture and pain in that length of time. And so again, um, but he's the only one that overcame all those things. He
Mhm.
brought us hope and the reality of I mean, if you think about it, if we don't have the Bible, and here, I mean, in the reality, if we don't have the Bible and that story of Jesus Christ,
Mhm.
how would people really have any hope at all?
They wouldn't. I
I
can't
just
imagine.
I mean I presented this idea and I think it's a good idea. It's a good way of thinking of things. Okay, but I think it fits with what we're trying to do here is say Jesus is the Christ, the Son of God. He is the reality of our hope and our dreams when it comes to what we are, uh, what is promised to us after we die. And we love that. We accept that. We embrace that. We want that. Um, even if you're an atheist, even if you're a Gnostic, even if you're a Buddhist, even if you are um, Muslim, when you hear that story, and it's always here, you can't, you cannot unlearn it. There's certain things that you cannot unlearn in your life.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And the
Yeah.
story of Jesus Christ, you cannot unlearn. Once you learn that, you cannot unlearn it. And no matter what, it is still a spark of hope. No matter how much you want to kick against him, there's still that spark of hope that he gives because of that reality, because of what you've learned that you can no longer unlearn. And I think that, and I think that the more we trust in that idea, I think if we could present that to them, those who are struggling about their faith in Jesus Christ or have lost their faith in Jesus Christ, we can still say, but he's still here.
Hmm.
No matter how much you want to erase that memory, it's still here. And no matter how much you fight against that memory, it's still here. You cannot just walk away from that. It's still there.
Right.
And because it's still there, it still gives you a place of hope that you can at, at, at least in your most dire situation, there's still that. When you see a loved one die, or maybe a whole family, or whatever that looks like, you still have that. And because of that, you can make it, you know? And
Hmm.
Because
I'm
he
glad.
lives, we can face tomorrow.
What's that?
Because he lives, we can face tomorrow.
Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm. Powerful song.
But
Probably one of the best songs ever written by the Gaithers.
Yeah.
oh, the one of my favorite songs that talks about death and life was Blood, Sweat, and Tears. Oh, what's that song? How's it go? I'm not afraid of dying. you know,
Mm.
I'm not afraid of dying. But anyway, so
Mm.
the line goes, I pray there's no I eventually they say there I know there's no heaven, but I pray there's no hell. You know
Oh
what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
The song I think was called "And When I Die."
Yeah, and when I die. Yeah,
Yeah.
so again, there's those who were living up to the year 2000 were still affected by those things that they were taught by their parents or those who were around them that were very deeply involved with religion, and they were singing about spiritual things. And then the year 2000 came along and nothing happened. And then uh, what happened is that eagerness or that idea of the coming of Jesus Christ is no longer present with us. And so therefore, why even give any room for Jesus in our lives? I mean, it's discouraging whenever I go to church. And even though that we have, a few, we have, what would you say, a larger congregation in some ways, but we're not filling up the pews at all like we used to in
Right.
this large church. And I go to the Baptist Bible study, and there's not just a handful of people there. You know what I mean? It's discouraging. And when I'm driving to these places, um, the stores are open. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The liquor stores are open. The restaurants are open. All
And
these
on Sunday,
places are open on Sunday, and those people that are working there could have been at church instead of working. And I think what's driven us out of the church is the prosperity that we seek.
Right.
You know, it's Jesus' words is it's easier for a camel to get through the eye of a needle than it is for a rich man to get into heaven.
Right.
And when you seek after riches, you might as well be the rich man because you're in a worse place than the rich man himself because you are only driven by envy or greed and the luxuries that uh, that you feel that you are entitled to. And because of that, it drives you again, it drives you to work more. It drives you away from your families and you deliver your children to daycare so that they can be the author of their faith, their values, their and and how can you expect a society to survive like that when faith and values is no longer taught at home, but they're they're only a a phrase that we give to just fit into the rest of the crowd while we're at church or into those areas where people are talking about those same things. Again, there's so much is driven by the value of things that it has taken away from the 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 place in which God used to dwell in our hearts. It's no longer, we don't have room for him anymore in a lot of ways. I'm not talking about specifically us. I'm just talking about the general
Right.
public.
Yeah.
There's no
Sure.
place for God in their hearts anymore because greed has entered in and and it's locked onto them, and so much so that they have no room for nothing else. Even family has become secondary in their lives, you know. So it and anyway, we had a
Hmm.
good conversation.
Yeah, we
yep.
did. Had a good talk tonight.
Got through some of it. So Santa Claus is a real person. The guy that's sitting on the throne of Santa Claus is Santa Claus. If and he's in the spirit of Santa Claus, just like we are in the spirit of Christ. Now
Right.
don't expect him to take his little reindeers and start flying away. That's not where he's at. Those are only representations of what the real magic in heaven is. So anyway, with that, anybody got any last words before
I
we
can't.
check out?
I can't think of anything.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, we had a nice casual conversation tonight.
Yep.
So
And tomorrow night, let me I can't remember what we got going on for tomorrow night, but we will find out here. Jason Waltron wanted us to talk about something, and I'm going to find it here. Um,
and I wasn't sure I understood exactly what you were talking about coming January.
oh, oh, see, I've scheduled all these, all these Zoom meetings that I'm doing now. They're scheduled through June 20th.
Okay.
I don't have to schedule them every time I do one. I've already got them pre-scheduled all the way through.
Okay.
And they're
Okay,
on the
but you
same,
said something about an hour or something a
oh,
day.
that on the 26th. So what's going to happen in, I don't know when, I say the 26th of December. What I'm going to start doing is we're going to have discussions for 1 hour in the evening every day, 5 days a week.
Okay.
And so that means that you don't have to be on every day, but for 1 hour, that's where I'm going to be, is right here
Okay, I
in the
see.
evening time. In the morning, before I go to work, and I hope I can do this I hope the schedule works out for me, that I could go ahead and do another Zoom meeting in the morning, 5 days a week. That
What
is,
time would that be in your area?
I, I'm still working on that.
Oh, okay.
I'm, depends on what the bosses want me to do. You know what I mean? I was going to
Mm-hmm.
start it like tomorrow because,
Mm-hmm.
uh, uh, I figured if I go to work at 10, I can do one at, 7 o'clock my time,
It should be
which
10
is
mine.
Pacific. Yeah, 10 a.m. your time. And I could do a Zoom meeting then. But it was that one there is for the Come Follow Me, which is we're going to be doing the doctor coming this next year. So I was
Mm.
going to do that for 30 minutes every day for 5 days a week. And then the evening time, I was doing another, uh, we're going to do a discussion, an open, the open discussion that involves any subject that we are interested at that time. And so again, I'm working through it. I've got some ideas,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
and if anybody that wants to join in with the Come Follow Me, whether you're a member of the church or not, there's still some good things to talk about in those discussions. So please don't be shy about coming in,
Mm-hmm.
because like I said, it's Doctor Covenants, it's the history of Joseph Smith and the church. So there's a lot of stuff going on there that is at least debatable.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? We still can have a discussion. Is this uh, does it fit in with uh, the doctrine of the Bible, what is being proclaimed by Joseph Smith within the chapters, and is his story is credible and all these things. It's not to, and again, we're not here to proselyte. We're just here to have a good time
Mm-hmm.
about discussing about anything that's directed towards Jesus Christ. And
Right.
Tim is thinking, well, the real Jesus Christ, I would say.
Okay.
I'm just having fun. He's so Jason, if you get a chance to watch this, you better watch it, or you better be here tomorrow night, because we're going to do your little subject here. It says,
Did you ever figure out what it was?
yeah, it's Father's kingdom, and Jesus taught all to look to the future of his coming. So that's what it's. So basically, the Father's kingdom, it's geared towards what we would say LDS idea theology would be geared towards.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's the Father's kingdom, and that Jesus taught all to look for the future coming up. So
Okay.
I'll try to relay that in better
Okay.
way. It's the Father's kingdom and what Jesus taught to look forward to whenever for the second coming,
Okay.
basically. So that's the way that we're going to do that. And so we'll be here tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. Again, everybody's welcome that wants to come join us on the simulcast. If you want to join us on a Zoom, make sure that you uh, articulate that through Messenger or whatever, however you want, and we will get you into our discussion on air. So anyway,
All right.
uh,
Sounds good.
I'll say a prayer for us, and
All
we'll
right.
get out of here.
Okay.
Our Heavenly Father, we are so thankful for this opportunity to discuss the spiritual things of life and how we can use this season as uh, in a way to bring people to the knowledge of thy Son and his most bountiful gift that is unobtainable in any other way but in the simplest way, to receive him in our hearts and our minds so that we can be with thee and thy Son throughout all eternity. And we ask for the blessing be upon those who are the first responders and those who lead this country, and may they be protected, and may they be able to perform their task to the benefit of those they serve in the in the most Christ-like manner. And we ask in the name of Jesus Christ, Amen.
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 Rob,
right.
last word.
I guess I don't have any.
All
Hey,
right.
thanks a lot,
Well,
Rob.
look up that Resurrection movie and watch it. You'll like it.
The Risen.
Risen.
Resin. I'm sorry, Resin.
Yeah. Well, very
Okay.
good. Thanks,
All
guys.
right.
You have a
All
great
right.
night.
We'll see you. Good night.
All right.
So, folks, again, I plead with you. I beg of you. I'm doing this on my own. I've tried to reach out to others to help me get this channel started in the best way possible. So far, I haven't had any real uh, help out there that could help us reach more people. So again, it's really up to you that are watching these videos and that you help us by sharing, subscribing, liking this video, and also making comments. Let us know what you're interested in. So that, because if we're talking about the things that you want to talk about, then you're going to be here with us. If we're not talking about the things that you are wanting to hear, then we're unaware. So again, please subscribe, like, share, and comment. And I think you will see some improvement as we reach different plateaus of and more people that are interested in coming on and being a part of this Zoom meeting. The more that the conversation becomes not um, the same hashed out ideas over and over. And so, like I said, for whatever reason, I don't know. I've reached out to many people out there, and it seems like I just don't fit into to their world, and I'm okay with that. But that means that if you're watching this to the end, then you please help me to get this videos out there to those who would be interested in these subjects. And again, if you're telling me you're interested in a different in this a particular subject, then that means that you wouldn't be the only one that be interested. Others would be interested in that same subject. And so I'm asking you again to help us out here. I don't want to do this. I'm doing this on my own back. I bought the equipment, the subscriptions to Zoom, and all these things. And financially, I'll do this by myself. I don't need other people's help to do this. As far as financially, what I need is help that I can't, that I have no power over, and that's where the audience will help me out a great deal. And again, if we ever got to a position where we can monetize this station, where we actually were getting an income from YouTube, everything that we receive would go to a place of need. I would still financially support this channel and do everything that I could in my power to continue to have these discussions. But everything, if we ever did monetize, everything that we would receive would go to a place where there's a need. We have a mission in our town, and we have other places that are set up that people are in need, and that's where the income that we would receive would go. So hopefully, again, you're listening to me at the end here, and I've touched your heart in some way, so that you can help us out in that way. Like I said, I'm not looking for donations. I'm not looking for anything except for people just to help us get the word out that we're here and we're here to stay and we're not going away, no matter what the size of our audience is. And we hope to see you again when we post our next video. We'll be here tomorrow night on Tuesday, December 10th, from 6 to 8 p.m. Pacific time. And we will enjoy that moment with you guys. Thank you very much.
That's a big 10-4, good buddy.
Hey, thanks a lot, Rob.